Call this meeting to order. Jim Gibson, will you lead us tonight, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jim. Tamara, will you take us through a roll call, please?
Yes, I will. Those present are Mayor Shaw, Council members Baker, Johnson, Armbruster, Kemp, and McVeigh. Staff present is myself, the clerk treasurer, our city attorney, public works supervisor, our city planner, our city engineer, and Rich with our 62nd Medical Brigade.
Thank you. Look for approval of agenda, please.
Lieutenant? Oh, that's right. Lieutenant Mancia. Sorry, he wasn't in the room and I missed him. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you. Look for approval of agenda, please.
Like to move that we approve the agenda.
Second. There's a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, council. Look for approval of consent agenda, please.
Move approval of the consent agenda to include the August 9th, 2022 meeting minutes, the September 13th, 2022 claim vouchers, 7450 through 7467, and EFT in the amount of $38,915.47. The amended August 2nd meeting claims and recharges, the August 2022 payroll in the amount of $36,713.49, the August 2022 treasury report, and they've been audited by the committee.
Second. There's a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. We'll now go to public comment. If anybody is sitting out there that wants to talk during public comment, and they signed up.
I have one thing to say. We have apple sales going on where we love Rainier. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, move on to presentation and proclamation of National Voters Day, Thurston County Auditor's Office.
Which I don't think they made it. I wasn't sure that they were aware that it was at 5 o'clock, so I just emailed her today. So I have a feeling they're going to be here late. But essentially, she sent me the verbiage, and so they just want our council to adopt the fact that September 20th, 2022 is National Voter Registration Day. I don't know if there's any questions. I probably can't answer them. So maybe she'll show up before the meeting gets over if we wanted to put that on hold, or if we are okay to go ahead and.
I think it's just a proclamation for advertisement and remind people to register to vote.
Do they need the council to, you know, I mean, I don't know how many of these things we need during the course of a year. I just don't know. Everybody knows, get out and vote, register.
I think they're just trying to get some.
It's going to make a difference if we sign the proclamation.
Absolutely. I move that we approve the proclamation.
I just want to make sure it's no work on you guys. They're not expecting anything from you guys from the city.
I appreciate that, Mo.
Well,
I will say the last proclamation we had was when we considered a day in August was national, or the black and white school spirit for the Rainier School. So it didn't require anything out of us. We just signed it. It just shows our support, basically. And honestly, I forgot we even did it. So it doesn't ever come up again. So if the council is good with signing this, then I have it ready to be signed.
Okay, there's been a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, council. We'll now go to staff reports. Officer Mancini, you want to start us off?
Sure. Nothing new on the sheriff's office side. We are starting to get more people back from the academy and people back off of injury leave, so our staff levels are getting better. We have a little bit more activity in Rainier, as you see on the stats. A lot more traffic stops. I think that's probably getting back into school, and the guys are in the schools and stopping cars out there. So other than that, the traffic stats look pretty low on.
Any questions for Officer Mancini?
And then I will address the speed side for that.
Thank you very much.
I'll follow up with you next week.
Beautiful, thank you.
Thank you. Adam?
Yeah, all contract amendments have been signed and work has begun on the sports courts. It's also begun work on the Rainier water system plan update. Thank you to Ron and Tammy for being on the data request promptly. And then the crosswalk, our transportation group in the Seattle office has begun work on that. And so we hope to get that out to bid by December or maybe in January to take advantage of the bidding climate at the beginning of the year.
Anything else?
That's it for me.
And then to add, after our last council meeting, the very next day, and I can't remember which one of you council members walked in while we were meeting. Was that you, Tom? Tammy and I were on the phone with Adam and John, getting all the ball rolling about the sports court and the crosswalks at your guys' request. We jumped on that the next day. Adam, thank you for reporting on that right now too.
Just had a quick part. Is there a plan to slow the speed down before the crosswalk?
We're hoping to.
Okay.
Adam, you got any insight on that?
Yeah, I'm still waiting on word from Andy at WashDOT on what they're doing with extending the speed limit to further than 30 miles per hour. So I'll let you know as soon as I hear something.
We've pushed for that. There's no way you can have a crosswalk and go in 40 and expect to stop by the time we get to your car and back. So. Okay, thanks, Adam. Any other questions for Adam? Okay. Jim Gibson?
Planning department's been pretty quiet this last month, processing 3 short plats. They're either preliminary or final plat approval on those. I've reviewed the Seattle Street subdivision construction plans. That's the 5 lots over there on Seattle Street that Holmes applied for. So we're ready to approve those drawings, so you might see construction out there soon. It'll be depending on ownership and when they want to get started. So we really don't have a date of starting, it's just the plans that were approved and we'll be ready to go. That's about it.
Those ones that you just alluded to on Seattle Street, they fell. They're in the old system where they're not having to pay the extra bedroom fee for building permit.
No, they should be.
No, excuse me, I said that.
Was any building permits from that point forward.
Do they have to go through the same process? Since that's a 5 lot, that's what I meant to say.
Pre-process, pre-approved before that came out, Thurston County.
So that's why they're able to start. Because it's a 5 lot where anything now recently cannot start in more than 2. So, and we did get all the paperwork in place to add to that, and any updated building permits that come in now will start paying the extra fee to pay for the well testing. Do you want to give any update on that? Do you have any? I know you and I talked the other day. Do we think we have enough to share?
Not at this time.
Okay.
I still need to meet with Bill.
Hi there.
Have that conversation. Next time we'll be out. Next month I'll have an update for you on how the well drilling's going and what we're finding.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. Any questions for Jim?
This
Are you
is,
with?
yes.
Okay. We already passed the proclamation, but now that you did make it here,
So I had it on my calendar for 5:30.
It's okay.
Does anybody have a question? I mean, we went through in good faith that it wasn't gonna bring any extra duty for my staff. Council was concerned about that. Can you just give us a quick overview of what it will involve, if anything?
So National Voter Registration Day, really, it doesn't involve anything on your part. What we're trying to do is just bring attention to the importance of registering to vote and voting.
Okay.
I think now more than ever, we really need to have everybody's participation and voice in our democracy. So, this is a way we've reached out to all the speak outs on the cities across the county, asking them if they would pass a proclamation, and, it's the 27th, is what's
20,
I thought it was the 20th, but now I can't find my copy, so. I just had it. Did you steal it?
I don't know if you have any leader boards in town or anything like that, but if there's anything that you could do, maybe on the website,
Yeah.
Facebook page, just talk about National Voter Registration Day.
Sure.
That would be terrific, and that's really what we're after, is just to promote registration voting. It's very simple. Votelaw.gov, you can register online, it takes about 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, thank you. Like I said, council already made a motion and passed it, so I'll sign it and we'll get it to you. And thank you for coming and yeah, thank you.
Oh, it is right there. I appreciate you for coming very much. Thank you.
No, my pleasure.
Keep up the good work, Mary.
Okay,
Thank
back
you.
where we left off. Mr. Gibson, Ron Gibson.
I submitted a written report, if there's any questions on that. Other than that, just so you know, we will be short-handed here coming up fairly soon. I have one employee that's getting married and they're going on a honeymoon, and another one is gonna be going on family leave. If not now, he will very soon because his wife is ready to have a baby. So, just so you know, we are gonna be a little short-handed, so you won't see quite as many of us around, but we'll get things done. So, any questions?
Any questions for Ron? Thank you, Ron. Dennis?
I attended TRPC and not a lot happened. It was more a celebration of being at Tabit, who was the deputy director, leaving, and the opening of requests for projects for the next phase of funding. We'll get that, I'm sure, through whoever our representative contacts us, or through our engineers. I mean, we have a list of projects. Just a matter of getting some money. Not a lot happened. It was probably the last in-person meeting. TRPC is gonna go to 2 in-person meetings a year, and the rest of them are gonna be online. Seems like they're going backwards for everybody else. Whatever.
Okay. Anything else, Dennis?
No, that's all.
Any questions for Dennis? Okay, thank you, Dennis. Ron?
Transportation Policy Board tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. That's all I've got.
Any questions for Ron? Thank you, Ron. Tom?
The 22nd, we're having the Thurston County EOC meeting. Trying to get everybody back on board, emergency operations centers. And, I just want to say thank you very much to the city council, or the staff and council for our EOC radio checks. It was really good. And I'm hoping that we'll get our crew back together for monthly meetings again. sheriff's department involved with it also. So, and city of Rainier, Rainier, is very adamant about helping out in the situation also. So, just trying to get that back going up and running again. So, I'm hoping by the first of the month, yeah. I forgot his name, Chris. So, if I don't have your emails, could you just, or Tammy's got them, and that's great. And what I'll do is I'll start emailing you our EOC broadcast dates and also our meetings. And I'll be having a conversation with Thurston County on the 22nd. For them to be getting back involved with this also. That's basically all I got right now.
Thank you, Tom. Any questions for Tom? George?
Steady meeting this Friday morning. It's gonna be at, the senior center. The last meeting we had, all three commissioners were at the meeting, so, they're really pretty interesting. The other thing is Halloween in the Park's coming up for the, last Saturday before Halloween. We're gonna do it on Saturday, year to year. That's all I got.
George, you've got, and I don't have it in front of me, coffee with the sheriff.
Oh, that's right.
I just saw that email.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think it is, yeah, at 1 o'clock. at the
Sheriff's
senior
nozzle
center.
will be out at the senior center.
Yeah.
1 o'clock?
1 o'clock, yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm surprised we get a pretty full house, but it'd be nice to get some more people in there because.
Good. Any
I
questions?
just read an article yesterday, the Farmer's Almanac predicts that we might have snow on Halloween this year. That might make things interesting for your Halloween.
That would be fun, actually. I think kids would enjoy that.
Okay, thank you, George. Any questions for George? Maureen?
I just want to say thank you to Tammy and her staff and her family for the great parade.
Oh, thank you.
Did a great job, and Joey, as usual, and her family. So I thought the parade went off really well. Ron, his group.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Any questions for Maureen? Okay, thank you. Bill, we're just going around the room tonight. So you have anything besides what is later in the agenda?
It's been a busy kind of month, actually, getting all this stuff
Yeah.
wound up in here at this time. There are actually some decisions to be made. So, and our Supreme Court our woke Supreme Court has decided that all lawyers need indoctrination sections now.
Yeah.
And
Need what?
indoctrination sections. Oh,
Indoctrination.
yeah. So I've got to sign up for a struggle session here pretty quick. So, it's okay. It's one of their new rules.
Anything else besides?
That's enough.
That's enough.
I said all summer.
Okay, we're gonna come back to you here in about 2 minutes. Any questions for Bill? Okay, we had another successful car show here a couple weeks ago. I'd like to thank the entire council for participation in the parade. Well attended. City staff for everything you did, Ron and Tammy and all your people. But again, the council, and I think it's good to have us present at the parade. And I think people appreciate what we're going to give out every year is what I'm starting to find out. We may have to get a little more creative.
We're welcome to ideas.
How about the street dance? I know, Dennis, I saw you at the street dance. I was at the street dance the whole time. Very, very good function. I'm looking forward to how you guys can improve that and make it bigger. And, I've already shared with some people that it would have been nice to, I think it better expectations than some people thought. And now I think the word of mouth is out there and we can get a different clientele also. So, it was good.
Yeah, the only issue is next year you need to have better traffic control, because they had that one idiot go around.
Dennis,
through the cones.
work, I know.
Yes.
Watch your word, please.
Okay,
We know, yeah.
that could have been a disaster.
Yeah, I had my eye on him to see where he was going.
She,
I was heading that direction, and then he stopped, and I was like, okay.
anyway, it was good function, and, what else is out on my list?
Thank you.
And I didn't know you could line dance to rock and roll. They sure seemed to have fun.
They had fun, and I liked just listening to music.
Yeah, it was a good band.
We haven't had a mayor's meeting in, I think, 6 months now. But we're gonna finally have a good attended mayor's meeting, this Friday, and it was Pacota's turn to host. I think there's gonna be 6 of us, 7 there, so I'm looking forward to getting back together with the meeting. We've only really had one meeting where we've had the new Tumwater mayor and the Yelm mayor and the Pacota mayor, so looking forward to that. And then the biggest thing that I've been working on is Steve at Pacota, myself, and Wayne at Tenino have been working hard the last month trying to get, we're gonna be on the ballot for 5 commissioners. And we have met and put our heads together that we really, really feel that one of the districts needs to be a representative from Rainier, Tenino, Pacota. And there was a meeting last Friday, and that's what I was just texting. When you were talking, Dennis, I was trying to get an update. I couldn't make the meeting. Wayne went as our spokesman for Southeast County. And he said the meeting went very, very well. And he feels that they were listening to our request. I had sent an email off. So we're hoping that one of the commissioners, you've got to have so many, registered voters to form a unit or a section. But we're hoping that we have a commissioner that will be from about halfway between, they're working on the map, but it'd basically be halfway between Yelm and Rainier all the way to Rochester. And if we can get that, that's very important. We don't want them to take one off and going Rochester to Tumwater and then taking us in with Yelm and, so we're working hard on that. Yes, Ron?
I saw a map on the news today showing the 5 districts that they're proposing, and they do show Olympia across to Yelm and down, excluding Rochester on the map they were supporting. It sounded like.
It was showing.
They showed the district for us would be from Olympia across the northern part of the county and then down to Pacota. Would go over to Rochester in the southern part of the county.
Okay.
That was when they were showing it. I didn't like it at all because it put a chunk of Olympia and Lacey, at least Lacey, into our district.
Yeah, well, that's not what we were pushing for, so I'm not sure on that.
Where did you see that?
Isn't it based on population?
You've got to have a population to form a district, yeah. Anyway, that's what I have. Tammy, oh boy, you got a big list.
I know this is all yours stuff. My list is on here. These are just my notes.
Okay.
So campers this weekend in Wilkowski Park, there is a Springer Spaniel show at JBLM this weekend, and their participants, some of them are going to be camping in our park. So I just wanted you guys to know if you saw 7 to 10 campers in there, not to worry. They've been in contact with us and they are paying campers, and so no reason to be alarmed there. October 12th, I'm going to Chelan to the AWC Expo just for one night. Christmas lights, I'm glad Robbie is here. We're going to talk about Christmas lights and a proposed plan that the We Love Rainier has come up with. So Robbie, do you want to talk about that now or? Okay, so in your packets, the last 2 pages are some quotes. And yes, I did. And those quotes are for permanent Christmas lights, which I have a flyer, but I did not want to print these for everybody, so I can pass them around. But just to give you guys some information, and then we can make a decision later if we need to. Robbie, would you like to?
So, We Love Rainier wants to expand its biggest little Christmas town, which is what we coined it as last year, as the biggest little Christmas town. And so we're hoping to get businesses along the 507 Bingham to really decorate and really bring some Christmas light to Rainier. So what we did is what I did was I contacted as many permanent Christmas light people that I could find and those that gave me responses back are the 2 that we have. So the one that is most expensive, that is Trim Light, and that is a lighting system that goes in a track with LED lights, and it has a 40-year warranty. And you can do thousands of colors and thousands of different patterns, but it is very expensive. So I wanted to go another direction and give some options, which are for LED lights, but they're the traditional Christmas lights, but commercial grade wiring and that sort of thing, with a professional installer. And that's the second bid that you have there, which is much cheaper.
They actually don't have that one. I have that one here. The 2 bids that you have, one is for the church, one is for City Hall. Robbie she had somebody out here doing quotes for the businesses and asked if we'd be interested in a bid, and I said a bid couldn't hurt.
It couldn't hurt.
So
that you guys have all of the info.
Right.
So the second one, I also gave Tammy for the traditional lights, and that would be, like I said, the C9 LEDs and having those installed on both the City Hall and the historic church. So, you want to talk about the prices?
yeah, so for the church it would be $1,030, and for City Hall it would be $1,200.
So let me just say that for City Hall, that was for all 4 sides, because it's kind of seen from all 4 sides. For the church, it was for 3 sides, and the bid that you guys have for trim light is 3 sides and a little entryway, and then the very top square part of the steeple. The bid for the traditional lights is, again, all 3 sides, the little front foyer, but that's also going up the steeple to the square part, because he said he would love to see it decked out.
And these are permanent lights?
They're permanent lights that would stay up. And so the first bid has a 40-year warranty, and like I said, and that's for the wiring and such. The lights themselves, they said, usually last about 56,000 hours, so they last a long time. But that's for the wiring and everything. That's a powder-coated metal tray, and then the lights hang down, and they're about this big that they hang down below. So it goes underneath the eaves of the right along where the gutter is. The other ones, like I said, are for the more traditional lights, but it's using the commercial grade wiring and then the C9, which are the bigger bulbs, so that it can be seen. Those are set 12 inches apart.
And that's which one, the more expensive bid?
So the most expensive one is the track light that comes in the C track with the 40-year warranty, the thousands of different colors that you can change. It's actually got an app on your phone and you change it. So it could be used for not only Christmas, but you could change the colors and do like 4th of July or Halloween or to support the school with their school colors or whatever. And it also has a bunch of patterns that you can do with the lighting and things. Then the cheaper bid that Tammy was talking about, of course, is with just one color of lights. Now, he will come out and service, and if we wanted to change out lights, he said he was more than willing to do that and things like that. But,
So what type
there's
of,
two ends of the spectrum.
what type of feedback are you getting from the business owners?
So from the business owners, I'm hearing that the expensive ones are expensive. Which I kind of felt like I was gonna hear. So I just met with a guy yesterday for the other ones, and I haven't really had a chance to talk to anybody about the traditional ones. The more expensive ones, the track light, they would need to know by the end of the month on whether you wanted to do that or not, because they are giving a discount to all of the businesses out here that sign up. The other one, I would still kind of like to hear by the end of the month, because I will be the one that's ordering all of the wiring and the bulbs and the everything and the supplies, and then the installer, which is, he's licensed, bonded. He's a person that Nicole from Old Town Park hooked me up with, because I wasn't getting callbacks from the other ones. Everybody's like, oh, it's too early to do Christmas. And I said, not when you have a whole town.
Is the vision, one business could choose one type of lights and the other could?
They could, yeah.
So you're not thinking that everybody in town had to be the same?
No, I just wanted to give people options. You know, you've got the one, and I knew it was expensive, and I know that not everybody's gonna wanna do the most expensive one, so I wanted to give an option that was the least expensive. So like I said, the expensive one is a 40-year warranty. The other one is about a 5-year warranty on the wiring, and then, of course, the bulbs. He'll come out and he'll just change them out and everything if they need to be changed out. But he said those typically last quite a while too. It would depend on how often they run them, because they could run them all year long if they wanted to, because it's good for security purposes and that sort of thing.
So Council, I would like to see us talk, this was a topic, believe it or not, I did not
Know anything about this because somebody didn't share it with me. You must have just known today, right?
Yeah.
This was a topic at council retreat next week. Christmas lights. So unless we have more questions for Robbie, I know it's on the discussion. I would like to have you guys think about all this, and that will be one of our topics next week.
There's something interesting about the first string of lights on colors. How many colors are there on that?
56,000. I mean, just so many, because you can actually on your app, you can choose custom colors. So you can take the color.
No, I just got this dumped on me, so.
Add, you have a color that you want more red to it or more blue to it. So it's like crazy what you can do with it.
And on the second option, would that person, what would they charge to come out and do maintenance once a year on the lights if lights burned out or anything? Do you have any idea on that?
I don't have specifics on that. However, as you can see, he's only charging for most of the buildings except for the church, because that's because he has to go up the steeple to do that. All of the buildings in town are 350 to install. So he's pretty cheap on doing that kind of stuff. And he said, look, if I put them up and you don't like them, you just let me know. If I put them up and there's a windstorm and they sag, just call me, I'll come back out. If I put them up and next year there's a light bulb out, just let me know. So I don't think he would charge very much. He does landscaping in the summer and Christmas lights in the fall, winter is what he does.
Question, Tammy, is this something that might be funded by our COVID money?
I don't see why not.
I mean, I like the trim light Northwest and the right spending, but if it's got a 40-year warranty, it turns out to be $235 a year. And if we could use our COVID money, then,
Well, and another thing with the lights is we're not paying Public Works to risk their lives to go put the lights up here.
I mean, they just have to climb a ladder and put them up around here. It's
Well,
not,
I know.
it's not like they're climbing.
Now, these trim lights, that is expensive, but I like all the features that they offer that we're not gonna get.
Did you have the little list that I gave?
I have the flyer that you gave me, yes.
But the regular, I typed up a little list of all the benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on here.
Okay, good.
So let's
With the C9 bulbs,
look
what was
through
it,
that.
one color limited, you don't have those
Yeah.
color white?
He said that he would come out and change them if we wanted to do something with holidays or whatever.
Mhm.
You know, and he said, yeah, I can come out and I can like switch and do like 2 red, 2 white, 2 blue, 2 red, or 2 white, 2 red, 2 blue, whatever you want to do. You know, every other one green and white for whatever, for Shamrock, you know, the, what is it? Yeah, the St. Patty's Day, yeah.
So if we're
You can
looking,
tell I celebrate that one a lot, right?
so if we're looking at a bulb every 12 inches, every foot,
Yeah, and
and we go
so,
around a building this size of the church, that's a lot of bulbs to change.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing,
And
yes.
what type of a liability insurance do we have? This guy, maybe he's, does it 1 year and then realizes that he's burning up $100 every time we change the bulbs.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, that would be something that would have to be negotiated separate from the 350 to install it, you know, if you wanted to change light bulbs out to different colors and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's kind of the opposite ends of the spectrum. You've got the more expensive one, but like Dennis said, that does amortize out to, you know, not very much per year. You know, it's just a lot to outlay at one time for like the businesses in town. It might be a lot for them to outlay. So I wanted to have a lower end spectrum also, or so that they can choose to do whatever they want to do as far as that sort of thing. But it saves people from getting on ladders and, you know, in the past, We Love Rainier has done a lot of the decorating in town, and quite honestly, all of our peeps are getting up there in age, and I don't really want to see them on ladders.
I'm in favor, Bob, I'm in favor.
Yeah.
Discuss it.
We'll discuss it.
It's
I
a little
think
more expensive.
you guys have already brought up some of the things I've been thinking about. I personally like the idea that you can change the colors out
Yeah.
and use it for more than just Christmas. But it
Yeah,
will be,
and change the pattern.
yeah, it will be on our topic. And while I said that, a couple of you haven't sent me an email of what you want on the agenda. So if you got something, I'd prefer it hopefully here by maybe tomorrow, so Tammy and I can talk Thursday. We usually talk about it, and Ron Gibson, we usually have a little meeting and get our agenda together first. So if you can get it to me by tomorrow, that would be great. If not, at least by Monday.
Well, it's my philosophy, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something quality that's gonna last for years.
Yep. Bring that comment to our meeting next week. Thank you, Robbie. Thank you, Tammy. We're back on.
One more thing. One more thing. The poles that we ordered for Main Street are here, and throughout the researching them, we've decided that Public Works cannot install them. So before we get to the installation process, I'm wondering if maybe we can go on a walkabout next Tuesday when we have our retreat as a group, and maybe talk about where we want to place them, and see if there's kind of a consensus on placement. I know we kind of talked about, you know, placing them, whatever. But anyways, and then we will get a couple bids on installation. And I've reached out to AWC because I know when you use COVID money to pay contractors, there's some extra steps that have to be taken. So I'm working with AWC on that to make sure we fall under their umbrella. So anyways, if you don't want to go on a walkabout, or if that's a terrible idea, maybe just give me maybe your thought process on where we're going to put them. Because the ones in the sidewalks, obviously, we're going to have to do a little more work. So that's all I have.
We have 6 of them to put in right now.
8.
8. Mm-hmm. But we'd already made a decision that we want to station it, put them so we could add more. That was, I know, very important to you council members when you voted. So I think we need to earmark basically from Chevron, where they're, where our property, where the Veterans Park starts. I think we need to think about from there down to across from Bill Foster's realtor and probably no farther than Brogan's Tenino side of the building. I mean, you got a quarter of a block down there and a quarter of a block down here, and then we got the main block, I think, is in my vision, so.
Yeah, I kind of have the same view. So just as an aside, I've been looking to try to find solar powered lights to go on the top of these poles. And I found them, but unfortunately they're all for 3-inch, which is residential size poles. And the diameter for our poles is 3.5 inches. So I'm still looking. And I thought if I could find one, we might buy one and try it and see what we think.
Okay.
Before we commit.
So that will be on our agenda next week also.
Okay, and then
Thank
did
you,
you want to, you're welcome. Did you want to give Rich a chance to, is this a good time for him to introduce himself? Or did you want him on the agenda?
No, I mean, let's,
Do it now?
yeah, go ahead. I mean,
Okay, we're gonna put you on the spot, Rich. Welcome.
Hi, Richard Chandler. I'm the Operations Sergeant Major for the 62nd Medical Brigade. From what I understand from George, we've had a partnership with this town or near for the last 20 to 30 years, at least. However, during COVID, the brigade got pushed out to serve the population of the United States. And we were spread out all throughout the country, from coast to coast, from border to border, supporting COVID operations. But now that we're back, we've been trying to get in touch with the city to renew our partnership. Spoke with Tammy a couple times, come down. We tried to get involved with the rodeo days, but it's kind of late in the process that we had the meeting, and then the things that we could provide, you guys already had one. But we're looking forward to a partnership with that. I went down last week to the We Love Rainier with George and Robbie. I already talked to the unit. We will be here with whatever support we need on the 29th. Some of the ideas we have some of the military here because we do have wheeled vehicles. I don't know if we need to do anything with you to get our vehicles down there as long as we're ready to dispatch.
You need to let him know. You need to let him know.
Yeah. So we can help out with anything you guys need. We have manpower up the wazoo. We're good at police calming. I know Titsu Road down here. I'm learning everything from there. Titsu is about the border from the road. Veronica's getting a team together to organize a We Love Rainier road cleanup crew. Keep the area beautified. We have events at JBLM that we would love for you guys to come up to observe. Ourselves as a brigade, we're doing a validation for our combat support hospital, CASH. Many of you may have seen something called MASH on TV, one of the greatest shows ever. We're similar to that. But we just switched to a hospital center, and we'll be having an exercise where we are validating our hospital center as it transitions from a CASH to a hospital center. And if you guys, any members would like to come up, we'll take you out in one of our non-tactical vehicles. We'll give you a tour of the 11-acre cells of the hospital center. We would love to come down and have any event, like when we have a change of command or a change of responsibility, we'd love for you guys to come up and be a part of it as a VIP, as our guests. We had something recently called Meet Your Army Day at JBLM, and I'll be doing more of that, where not just our unit sets up static displays, but other units will bring stuff out. We had the HIMARS out here. I'm sure you guys have heard of the HIMARS, what's been going on over in Ukraine. We've got HIMARS, we've got the EOD people up there with their robots. We've got the helicopters from Special Operations Aviation. Got all kinds of stuff up there. It's cool to see. Tree lighting, we'd love to come down. My DCO was supposed to be here, Deputy Commanding Officer was supposed to be here today, but he got caught up in a meeting. But we'd like to have our commander come down and be part of the tree lighting. If you need help putting up lights. Again, we're a younger group. Some can be. We'll be more than happy to climb ladders for you. But just anything that you guys need or would like, we'd like to also partner with the high school to support them. In the past, I've been in units where we've done color guard. We don't have a band, but we have a color guard. I can get you the POC for the band.
Okay.
For the events. You might be able to get parts of the band too, like a quintet or quartet, to come down and play.
Perfect.
Even for the Christmas light, might be possible. But we would just like to be part of it. Reinvigorate what was going on 20 to 30 years, or for the last 20 to 30 years before COVID. Our commander is Colonel Robert Heath. He's a physician's assistant by trade, and our command sergeant major for the brigade is Jesus Gonzalez. We are all in on this partnership, along with JBLM, the garrison itself. Thank you for allowing me to come down.
Perfect. Thank you.
We love Rainier.
Do you, any questions? Do you have a card at all that has your email? Because Tammy has said, I know you guys said you've been sending me emails. I went back and looked after you came down and met with Tammy. I have not received any emails, so I don't know if you got the wrong email or what, but is there an email you have that I can email you?
I'll give you my email before.
Okay, because
I have a card myself.
even after you and Tammy met here a couple of weeks ago, I went right and checked my email to see, because she said you were going to email me.
Is your phone number this building, press 5?
Yeah, I think so.
That's not a great way to,
Yeah, it's not good.
no.
That's it.
I'll give you, are you
I'll
gonna
give
stay,
you his personal cell phone.
are you going to stay around?
Yes.
Okay, I'll give you my cell phone as soon as we get done. Yeah. Okay. Bill, you're on.
I am?
Yep.
For the scooters.
For the scooters.
Scooters, okay. Tammy, why don't you tell them how this got started?
Well, I did email you all about how this came to light. Does everybody read my email? Okay. Basically, a citizen in town wants to ride his scooter, but according to our old RCW, it was not permitted on Rainier streets. So he did not want to get in trouble with the police by riding his scooter. So I asked Bill if there was a way that we could change our ordinance, and Bill found that.
Our ordinance has been superseded by state law. While this is not something, this happened before I got here. I don't know what prompted this, but I have the suspicion that these scooters used to be powered by what basically model airplane engines. They were made quite a racket, and I suspect that's kind of what prompted it. But the legislature, because these scooter rental outfits got popular in the cities about 5-6 years ago, the legislature decided that we got to make this kind of uniform, and they took charge of it, said they're legal on basically all public ways, with some exceptions. And so they pretty much preempted our ordinance. So what I tell you, we can allow them to be used on sidewalks where it isn't essential that they drive on sidewalks, if you want to do that. And there was something else that they can.
Under 16, I think.
Huh?
If you're going to allow kids.
Oh, yeah, if you want to allow 12-year-olds, you can do that. Otherwise, we do need to repeal what we have because it's been preempted by state laws, and somebody, looks at this and says, oh, Jack can't do it, but actually they can. So, if you want to do something besides that, then I have to go and research some more, maybe. But, so what's your pleasure?
Oh, you said we have to repeal.
We do have to repeal it unless you want to do something else. Because
And Bill's ready to do that tonight unless the council had some earth-shattering rule that they wanted to implement that would take the place of what the state has already implemented.
So if we repeal ours and do nothing, then we operate under the state.
correct, right, right. Which is probably all the sheriff is gonna enforce anyway. But that's kind of our deal, they don't. Yeah. So, if you want to do that, we have ordinance 712 all prepared for you to pass, and then you won't have to see this again. If you wanted me to look or research something further, then.
So you said something about being on sidewalks, so are these street legal? I mean, can they go on streets?
Yeah. That was the legislature's decision. You haven't seen scooter rentals out here, but they popped up in Tacoma, I think about 4 or 5 years ago. And they've kind of weeded it out, and there's only one company doing it now. They disappeared for a year or so, and now they're back, and they're bigger, together, and yawn, and they've all got little GPS signals on them, so somebody comes around, picks them up, and takes them, changes the batteries out.
Does this include, I don't know, hoverboards, whatever you want to call them, that are motorized?
Probably. I've seen those. They have 2-wheel versions. They have 1-wheel versions too. That's really scary. I've only seen a couple of guys riding those things, but I haven't seen it for a while, so they may have gone on to their just reward.
Well, my only concern is these kids under 16. They already terrorize us with their dirt bikes and quads everywhere. It's just opening a door to another problem.
So the way that Bill has this prepared is nobody under 16, not on sidewalks, street legal vehicles on city streets, as long as they're street legal.
For example, you had a bridge that has a sidewalk. They can use the sidewalk to get across the bridge. If that's what they need to do to get across in safety. But otherwise, they stay on the street. I wouldn't imagine a lot of them are going to go out on the highway very much. It's going to be on surface streets.
I don't really have an objection to having motorized scooters. And I agree they should, under 16 shouldn't be out in the street on a scooter. But what I'd like to see eliminated if we do something is this section 5. I really don't want to see scooter rentals and have these things sitting around in corners waiting for people.
Well, if somebody comes along and wants to do that, let's address that then. I didn't even start on that because you hadn't made any attempt to regulate that kind of thing anyway.
Do the scooters have to be street legal?
Yes.
Yeah. I think the age limitation.
Yeah.
Is appropriate. Yeah.
You want to pass the ordinance number 712, it just repeals.
I move that we vote on ordinance 712.
Yes, that would repeal all of chapter 10.36.
Which would repeal all of what he said.
There's a motion, a second, to pass ordinance 712. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, council. Okay, we'll go on to the last item, unfinished business resolution.
What about this ordinance?
It was squished under the other one.
That's the pickleball court.
No, I have ordinance 711 first is the 2022 budget amendment. Is it?
The resolution.
Correct.
Right.
Yes, okay.
Right.
So this is just a budget amendment right here.
Okay, I know, I thought that was 712.
No. This is just adding in, it's nothing that you guys are not aware of. It's my mistake. I did not add in the ARPA funds in the 2022 budget. We got half last year and half this year. So I just had to put that in the budget. And then also, my mistake was Minnesota project that was done last year. The TIB money came in 22, and then we paid the county in 22, and I did not account for that when we created the 2022 budget. So this ordinance 711 amends those two line items to accommodate for my mistakes, essentially.
I move we approve ordinance number 711 to correct Tammy's mistake.
Thank you.
There's a motion, a second to pass ordinance 711. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, council. Now we'll go to unfinished resolution 548.
That's 548.
Yeah,
That's right. Okay, this is all part of the same thing here. We have $250,000 coming to the county to build the facilities, the pickleball courts and what have you. Part of that is that we have needed to change the comprehensive plan. Now, this actually went to the planning commission over a year ago. They approved the addition of that park plan. But the interlocal agreement for this got stuck someplace in the county, and it showed up in July, something like that. So what resolution 548 does is basically change the part B of our comprehensive plan capital improvement program. Because we don't have to revisit that, I think until what, 2025? Because we have to go with comprehensive plan, 10 years now?
I'd have to look, I think it's 7 or 10.
Yeah. They changed the amount of time on that. So anyway, that's all that particular resolution.
But, yeah, I have several. I do not personally remember seeing this capital improvement program parks thing. The planning commission may have done something with it, but I don't ever remember coming before the council.
We have about two.
Well, yeah, but that's what I said. I had some questions. Number one, some corrections there. In the top where it says now therefore the city council. There's a misspelling. It's not the realm of Rainier Tenino Trail. It's the realm of Rainier Tenino Trail.
Well, that's good. I don't know where yours comes from. Mine says,
Online. Yeah. Did you see where I'm talking about?
Yeah, I can fix it. It's just a typo.
Okay. Then I'm looking at the next part, Community Park, Dakota Street North, and we're talking about spending money for a skate park, basketball court, spray pad, and bandstand.
this is what's in there now. The only change is the very last section.
The very last section, which is what?
It says community park.
Well, it says community park.
Well, actually, there's two of them, but it's the last one.
Yeah. You got community park and then Dakota Street. You got community park, Bukowski Park. You got neighborhood park. You got community park, Pleasant View Trail. Community park, Yellow Rainier Tenino Trail. I'm saying I don't remember this coming before the council for approval to go over here on Dakota Street and put a basketball court, a skate park, and a spray pad.
This is from 2016.
Well, that's what's in there.
I think this is from 2016. The only thing that he added for tonight was the very last section.
The very last item, that's the only change from the existing.
Which is for the pickleball court.
Yes.
That's right, 2 pickleball courts, 1 tennis court, a concrete walkway, picnic tables adjacent to new sport.
Well, what went in 2016 and what we got now, because in 2016, we didn't have a basketball court. I don't know that we need.
But it's just a park plan in case we want to go ahead with something. That's my understanding of that. Isn't it?
Yeah, but the park plan should be something to look at. Why would we, with the great basketball court we currently have, why would we want to put one over by?
I just don't think we've updated. So right now, we just haven't updated.
Correct.
So we can talk about that next week.
Yeah, so that's what there's this stuff in here that probably needs to be updated.
Jim, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I can help offer some input here.
Okay.
When we first approached by Thurston County, they offered the $250,000, but what the programming was we wanted to do wasn't in the parks plan. So we found a way to add it to the parks plan. The currently adopted parks plan, which was, like they mentioned, all this information, plus this entry.
This is for the pickleball courts.
Just the pickleball courts.
Yeah.
So we were able to add it here and ask for a budget amendment to get the money from Thurston County.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That I totally agree with. I'm just saying there's some other parts of this that we need to do something to update it.
And the
We
reason,
don't need another basketball court.
agreed,
You know,
the reason we didn't do a full update for this one simple ad is it would have been a 12-month process.
yeah.
The code lays it out really well, where you gotta have multiple public inputs, create a group and multiple things to update the park plan. So we didn't have the time to do that at this point. If we do wanna go back and start looking through the parks plan, that is, it's gonna be about a year process, but certainly doable if we wanna relook at that. But for tonight, it was a way to move the money from Thurston County to our needs. Is really what we're
So
for tonight.
how large a document is our parks plan?
I think it's 30 pages or so. It's been
Yeah, it's fairly, certainly the comprehensive plan is quite long. But we can only change it, what is it, once a year?
once a year, yeah.
Once a year, or you can do it in conjunction with a budget amendment, which is why you're getting it now in this format.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna change anything else. If you want the planning commission to look at some of this stuff, then
That's another topic.
that's another topic, yeah.
Yeah, but I would like, maybe not the planning commission, I'd like the council to look at it. And maybe that's something we could look at our retreat.
Okay.
Or maybe that's something we could get a copy of just the parking part to the council so we could look at it and
With
discuss
the
it.
mayor's permission, I think we can just email you the park section of the comp plan for your review and discussion
Yeah,
at
that
the
would
meeting.
Yes,
That would absolutely work.
okay.
So then I understand what we're doing. So I move that we approve resolution 548, interurban trail.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve
Resolution 548.
resolution 548. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, council. Anything else?
Hold on just a sec. Bill, does resolution 548 also include the agreement, the interlocal agreement? Everybody can sign it and ship it off to the county now? Perfect, okay. Okay, beautiful, that's all I had.
There's a motion and a second to adjourn. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Meeting officially adjourned at 6:04 PM. Thank you, council.